All right. I'm getting another 3-minute sell on ES, but this would not be a part of the strategy because you're too far away from VWAP. Does look very weak, though. IMNM starting to push back up. I thought about adding onto my shares when you were well below VWAP, but it's just too risky. I think I'm going to sit on the current shares that I have. Might add a little bit if we get a bigger nuke. Maybe below 16. Hey, OP, what's going on? The only major news today, Sab, was the new variant has been found in the US and California. Of course, it was California of all states, right? Johnny C, what's going on, man? Here's that sell-off coming on ES. Very extended, though, hovering around the second deviation of VWAP. Q's is still maintaining that sell signal from around 11:30. Down about 2%, 7 points. I don't know why my trading view is lagging so bad the past few days. On BBIO, no, I don't remember seeing that yesterday. BBIO, which one is that? The pharma company? The person was fully vaccinated too. I think, unless I read it incorrectly, I thought the South African doctor said that all the cases they found over there were vaccinated as well. But I'm not sure. I didn't look too hard into it. I try not to look too hard into these new variants. It's just same shit, different day, dude. Every single fucking week, new variant, new variant, new variant, new variant.
Bro, we still got like half of the Greek alphabet to go.
Yeah, right.
Strap in.
Yeah. Not if they keep skipping them. That name sounds familiar. I think I saw somebody on Twitter or somebody in Discord talking about BBio. Hey, Dariana. Vicky, what's going on? Here comes the sell-off. We can actually extend our lower band to the third band, see if it gets down to the third one. That'd be pretty low. We are holding below the 30-minute 200 EMA on SPY and Qs, the orange line here. We actually came back to retest it earlier this morning. That was where the sell-off started. 50 is crossing below the 200 too. So this is the first time since September of this year that the 200 EMA has been descending from that pullback. You can see we've actually started to flip the 200, and now we are descending. So not a good look. Seems like SPY and Qs are entering very bearish territory. Yeah, the debt ceiling, they were supposed to vote on it today, and they said they couldn't come to an agreement, so they're pushing it back to tomorrow, I believe. They have to have it passed by Friday, or they're going to run out of money. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, John. That's what I heard about in South Africa. It was either they were all fully vaccinated, or they were finding that the vaccinated were getting the new variant faster or to a higher degree, something like that. Because I think it's a variant that's coming out it's not like from the vaccines, but it's a variant that's designed itself, obviously, to fight the vaccines. It's mutated to fight the vaccines. I guess I would say designed kind of a bad word. But I'm not a doctor, so I have no fucking idea. And I try not to follow that stuff too much. I also try not to talk about it too much on YouTube because they will ban me. It's pretty bad, man. And the time that I've been streaming, I've never felt that I've had to like watch what I say, except for until like this last year. Yeah, it's getting brutal here. High volume sell off on the Q side. I think it's being led mainly by Facebook and Amazon. Yeah, Facebook down pretty hard today. If we put this back on the second deviation, you can see we were pretty extended. It's actually getting decent volume here now. Netflix selling off as well. Almost choked on my water. Tesla getting a little extended on VWAP. The lower VWAP is around 1119. So you're about 10 points outside of where you're determined to be healthy. Evolved, yeah, that'd be a better word. Evolved, mutated. You know what I mean? Designed sounds like it was made in a lab. Yeah, that would make sense, John. So I was going over that scalping strategy that I was talking about with the bot. I think I talked about it yesterday on stream. I've been posting a little bit about it in Discord. There was a couple of really good examples today with that scalping strategy. And the first example was, well, there was a couple examples pre-market. There's an example right here, one right here as well. They played out beautifully. The ones that came during the market was this one right here. We had the bounce off VWAP, and then it gave you the buy signal, which gave you, depending on where you took it, maximum of like 26 to around 15 points. And then this one right here, same thing, bounced off VWAP and gave a buy signal. Could have given you up to 18 points. And then we had the sell signal right here, which in this case, if you would have just taken the sell signal, it would have been better. It gave you 82 points. That's ridiculous for a 3-minute signal. That's mainly because VIX is so high, so we're getting these very wide spreads. But if you would have taken the actual signal from the strategy, you want VWAP to be supporting you. So we have the sell signal, and then we have the loss of VWAP, which means VWAP is on our side. So then you could have taken the trade there, 64 points. So the strategy is about 3 for 3 on the day. If you don't count the pre-market, it gave you a couple more pre-market as well. The thing that the strategy will help you with is ignoring signals like this, like ignoring the signals that are not on the side of the VWAP that you're trading, right? So like all these little sell signals, they're too choppy, right? You don't want to take those signals because they're not following the overall trend. But these signals, they are following the overall trend with VWAP support, right? So if you use VWAP as like your main identifier to cut out those bad signals, it will make sure that you're not all the time, but most of the time, you're trading on the side that you want to be on. That's a ADMA. The purple line is an ADMA. I'm not factoring in the ADMA to the strategy. I just have it on there for visual reasons, visual support, but it's not actually factored into the strategy. Yeah, the IWM signal did get faked out. You're not wrong. And I'll pull that up. The IWM, where's the bot here? Oops. Let's go back to regular candles. So this is the type of scenario where you do not want to use the bot, which we talk about in all the bot videos. When the market is ranging, you ignore the bot. The bot is not a ranging bot. The bot is a trending bot. So when you have a nasty distribution or a nasty accumulation, you ignore the bot. That's not the strategy that you want to be using. You want to be using my volume profile strategies or my accumulation distribution strategies. You do not want to be using the bot. But then we had a buy signal right here, which obviously ended up starting a new trend. So now we are entering a trendy market. So we had the buy, it played out, you had a little bit of a gain here, and now the sell is in a pretty nice gain. So now we are entering a trending market on IWM. If we go to the weekly got faked out completely. So the weekly, you had a buy signal way back here, closed it right here for a very big gain. You had a buy signal right here, which closed for about a break-even loss. So in that regard, the loss is extremely small, but it is definitely getting faked out. And you could have been warned by that fake out by the take profit signal. So we had the buy signal, and then we had the take profit signal right after the buy signal. So it was kind of telling you right away that the resistance was too strong. And now we're in a sell signal. So now we have to see how well this sell signal is going to do. Yeah, IWM is very choppy. It's not one that I would recommend using the bot on. I just got an alert on SPY. What was that alert? Oh, that was the monthly low. So this is actually very bad. I set an alert earlier for the monthly low. If we go to the monthly chart here, we had a very bad monthly close in November, and we're already breaking the low of November on what, the first day of December? So that's not pretty. If this weekly closes very weak, you very easily could go back to 445, very easily could go back to 420 if we lose 445. So far since COVID, the weekly has not lost the OTS trail a single time. You tested it back in October, it gave you a buy the dip signal, played out beautifully. You tested it back in September and October again. It gave you 3 buy the dip signals. They played out beautifully. And now we're coming back to retest it. So we haven't lost it since COVID. So if we lose it this time, This shows you that this is the weakest sell-off, or I guess you would say the strongest sell-off. It's the weakest that SPY has been since COVID. So keep an eye on that around 450 to 445 area. We really need to hold on to that. We're coming in. Oh, so look at that. The OTS trail is flipping red. That just happened. It was not like that earlier. So the OTS trail is flipping red on the daily, and you're turning red on the candle colors. So it is starting to enter a bearish trend. If we lose the 50, the next major support would be obviously all the gaps. We have a bunch of gaps, 446, 442, 435. And then the obvious support, the long-term support, would be 427, the 200 EMA. On a better note, something that did very well today, I think it pulled back now, but fundamentally did very well, were the Chinese EV companies, Li Automotive, NIO, XPEV. They all had very good deliveries. They're obviously not doing so hot right now after the deliveries because the market's kind of nuking here. But as far as fundamentals go, year-over-year growth is very, very strong on XPEV, Li Automotive, and NIO. So any major pullbacks in those companies long-term should be bought up pretty quickly. Coinbase selling off as well, not doing too hot. PayPal getting very close to our weekly buy point, which is the weekly 200, around 170. I might front run it a little bit, so if it goes to like 175, 174, I might start buying some shares. I'm looking to double up my shares to lower my average for my long-term portfolio. Bitcoin losing VWAP, retesting VWAP bearishly, and now we're pulling back. Ethereum lost VWAP way earlier this morning, around 12 o'clock. It's getting very weak, seeing volume outside of the second deviation. My thoughts on all the altcoins, J-Man, is going to be basically the same. I think altcoins are extremely dangerous right now. If you see a major pullback on Ethereum and Bitcoin, Ethereum and Bitcoin were doing pretty well the past few days, but we're topping out a little bit on Ethereum. Bitcoin is also continuing to fail that pivot. It's failed that pivot 3 times in a row. It's not going to hold here for much longer. You could even see a sell-off by the end of today or tomorrow. You really need to get above this pivot and hold on to it. So personally, I would not be trading altcoins right now, but I can take a look. Very new, so not a whole lot of data on this one. Okay, the 4 hour is not too bad. 4 hour, we have a little distribution pattern happening here, lower highs happening, pulling back into the 50 moving average on the 4 hour. You lost the pivot and the OTS trail around 69. You would have to reclaim 69 as soon as possible, or this is going to start selling off pretty quickly. Your next major level would be somewhere around here, around 61. And then you could easily fall down to like 50. Luna, let's take a look. Luna's actually doing really well, especially with the market being as choppy as it is. Yeah, not a bad place to take profits. You got a small bear div on the 4 hour, 1 hour pivot failing. So any resistance around 63.50, anything below that is pretty weak. That's a nice breakout on Luna. Past few days. ES is melting. Here's the 50-day on ES. So that sell signal did play out. If I was live trading this, I probably would not have taken this sell signal because you're way too far away from VWAP and you are right up against the second deviation. So you're not, your odds of getting 10 to 15 points out of this would be very, it'd be harder to get 10 to 15 points to the downside than it would be to bounce and stop you out, I guess is the easiest way to put it. If this sell signal was like somewhere around here, pretty close to VWAP, then you could have taken that signal. You could have taken the signal blindly, obviously, and it would have worked out in hindsight. But without hindsight, it's a little too extended off VWAP to want to take that trade. Like, how far are we from VWAP? Like 40 points? Yeah, 30 points. Look at how extended we are on ES, or on NASDAQ, I mean. We're well outside the second deviation. That's a lot of IW inputs. A lot of puts coming in today across the board on many different expirations. This is kind of what we were talking about, where you have IWM sell off, and then within like 5 to 7 days, the other indexes start to follow. And we've been selling off on IWM since November 8th, just basically straight down. And you can see that ES was struggling to follow. And then ES topped out on November 22nd. So it was actually like 2 weeks delayed on this one. But this is what people mean when they say the Russell leads. We've been selling off on the Russell since November 8th, but we've only been selling off on ES since November 22nd. RLC, let's take a look. They don't have a perp on FTX. I think I had this charted already, didn't I? I thought I did. I swear we looked at this already, didn't we? This is the, this was a triangle that we drew out not too long ago. But it's holding the 200 EMA, so for now it's safe short term. But if you lose the 200 at 380, it's probably gonna go down to that pivot around 330. Even if you bounce off the 200, you do have a pivot around 440, and then you have another pivot at 520. So that'd be like your breakout target. But this would be a clear resistance, which you can see that's holding us down the past couple days. We've been selling off on that pivot. So you're just accumulating between two major levels, 200 and then the pivot. Everything in between is just kind of chopping you out. I honestly have not seen anybody talk about this coin, so I don't think it's very popular. Pretty brutal sell-off. The Momo is losing trend. So if the Momo closes like this, it will confirm this as a major resistance area. You are retesting the previous all-time high. Are we at the third deviation yet? Let's see. Yeah, so we're testing the third deviation. We're very weak. B Bio's hitting my scanner. I'm not sure if you're still here, Johnny. B Bio's trying to bounce a little bit here. No sign of buy pressure yet. Pretty big volume on the sell side too, to be honest. VIX is only up 9% today, which is actually surprising. VIX just made a new high. That's not good. We talked about this earlier. It was bouncing off the ADMA. And now we're ripping off of the ADMA. Look at that, weekly ADMA too. You're also breaking this downtrend. I have that charted. Let's see. Yeah, you see this downtrend right here on VIX? That's some scary shit. VIX is already at almost 30. VIX likes to be around 15 to 20. And 20 is even kind of high. Like if you zoom out, once it starts getting towards 20 or higher, that's where it starts to be a problem. So it being at 30 is not a good look. The dollar is also holding up pretty nicely here. We might have to reacquire our dollar hedge. This is going to be really good for our IMNM if they do come out and say that their vaccine works very well against the new variant. They said they're going to have definitive results by January. What do I mean? It's a problem. You mean about VIX? It just means the markets are extremely volatile, and typically when VIX is spiking, SPY is nuking. So it being above 30 and still continuing to go higher means that we are nowhere near a bounce. Even Apple's almost red on the day. That's crazy. Apple was killing it earlier. Apple's given away 5 points already. That sell signal has already given you, Jesus Christ. It's already given you 46 points. This is ridiculous. These are 3-minute signals giving over 40 points back to back. Yeah, right, John. He's been buying them recently. He's been doing all right. Not sure how he's doing today. You know it's not good when NASDAQ is below the third deviation on the day. That's pretty bad. First take profit coming in, or at least trying to come in, on this sell signal on the bot, showing us that there's a little bit of support coming in. But if you look at the take profits that came in earlier today, they got smashed very quickly. The supports are not lasting very long. What sector is getting hit the hardest today? Let's see. Gold is down 2.7. That's nothing new. Retail is down 2.5. Communications down 1.5. The semiconductor ETF is doing very well because of TSM and ON. They're both having very good days. Are they holding up? Kind of holding up right around VWAP. How's ON doing? ON gave up all of its gains. Yeah, so not looking too good. If you guys were in the morning call this morning, I kind of butchered it, but what we were talking about was the pre-market movers that were getting very good news, like Lee Automotive, XPEV, Neo, AMC, DoorDash, a couple of other names that we mentioned. We talked about how because they were getting good news and they weren't pumping and holding on to their pre-market gains, that it was very scary. You typically would want to see those things doing very well pre-market, holding on to their pre-market gains, and then breaking their pre-market highs in the first like 30 minutes, right? Just immediately out the gate, getting very strong. Almost all of those names were selling off as soon as the bell rang. So it was a pretty big sign of weakness. Didn't look too good, and now we're feeling the pain with all the bad news coming out. Funny, the only thing that I wanted to add on to today was Ultria, and they're the only thing in my portfolio that's actually doing pretty good. I was hoping it was going to sell off and then I could add on to my leaps. Very strong recovery on Immunonome. What are you up? Almost $2 from the low? Yeah, $2 from the low, not bad. 12% actually from the low, that's huge. A lot of bag holders? Oh yeah, we're definitely in a bag holder market, especially because November, the best month of the year, put in a fucking gravestone candle. There are a lot of bag holders. You want to know how bad it is? My high a day scanner, which is normally like rocket speed going off all day, the last signal that it gave, besides some shitty ass company that just came in right now, was at 315. So no stock on my entire scanner made a high in the past, what, almost 30 minutes. And before that, it didn't give a signal until, what, 310 and then 3 o'clock, 250. Pretty brutal. Here, let me, I don't have a low a day scanner, but I'll make one real fast. We can take a look at it. What is this doing? Should be low a day. What is it doing? There we go. You guys want to see some blood red? Here's a low a day scanner. Fix this real fast. We don't need description. Motherfucker. Fine Q's back above their 21, not above their 50s though. What, is Luna still going up? That chart was pretty damn solid on the daily. The thing was ripping the past few days. Here's the 50s on the 1 minute. It's a very good sign of a reversal if you can stay above the 50s on the 1 minute. This is trade ideas, Nick. You can't see my other monitor. I used to stream it, but they didn't like that. They told me to stop streaming it. But here's my other monitor where my scans are. If it will let me pull it up, Jesus. I got a bunch of scans on an ultra wide. This is where I watch the 1 minutes on SPY and Qs, and then I also watch the 30s. 30 minutes are the best for finding the overall trend. You have the 200 EMA on the 30 minute. You can see once we started to fail the 200 EMA, this is where you really want to be risk off, and you start getting pretty bearish at that point. Still have not gotten another signal on my high day scanner. But look at the low day scanner. Thing is on fire. So this is the 50-day on SPY, also on ES. So what I'm thinking is max pain scenario is a lot of people start bidding here because the 50-day buy has been very profitable except for 3 times. September, October, and then September, October again. Besides that, the 50-day buy has been extremely profitable since COVID. So what I'm thinking is if they want to cause a lot of problems, they could give you the 50-day buy, make it seem like it's going to bounce, maybe bounce it to like 460, and then absolutely obliterate you down to 442, 435, maybe even 427. Because we haven't tested the 200 the entire time. We've tested the 50 plenty of times. So people's their first thought is to buy the 50. And honestly, historically, it works. It's one of those trades where you do it until it doesn't work. And out of like, I don't know, I'm not going to count it, probably like 20 to 30 times, you only would have lost 3, maybe 4. So it has easily over an 80% strike rate since COVID. So the trade is definitely worth taking. Not a bad idea. But like I said, I think if they really want to hurt you, they're going to bounce it to like 460-ish, make it look like you're going to get the 50-day bounce, and then they're going to completely kill you. Or they can just completely kill you and not even give you the bounce. But it would trap more people if they gave you the bounce. The next headline we're going to see is like California going back into full lockdown because of the new variant. Because they're the one that just got the first case. So if they want to keep the fear porn going, it's just going to be lockdown, lockdown, lockdown. New York's fully locked down. California's fully locked down. You're not allowed to go Christmas shopping. You're not allowed to go see Santa. Santa's only going to visit you if you're vaccinated. Those are their new headlines. Then you nuke it down to 442, 435. Fill those gaps. Then it looks more appetizing to the long-term trader. Oh yeah, exactly, John. They're gonna send it down mostly in the overnight session for sure. It's not fucking naughty or nice. It's vaccinated or unvaccinated. I'm sure parents are telling their kids that too. If you don't get vaccinated, you get nothing from Santa. All right, I'll stop there before I get banned. They're not telling them they're going to get coal for Christmas if they don't get vaccinated. They're going to get COVID. All right, looking like a pretty nasty bull trap on the Momo. So the Momo, when you have the short-term momentum, put in one of these like really big bearish peaks, and then you pop up and you try to put in a bullish peak, and then it gets shot down really quickly. Once this loses the zero line again, that will trigger the bull trap. So basically all these bulls right here are being trapped, the ones that tried to buy that bounce. Yeah, Jollibee, this video is getting disliked. It doesn't matter though, man. The dislikes they're taken away from YouTube. This is what I was saying earlier about the take profits getting completely obliterated all day. Because the take profits they're showing you a take profit because there's some kind of support or resistance being found there. And all day, these supports were getting smashed. Very weak. Do I trade on alarm when sleeping? What do you mean? Like, do I wake up in the middle of the night and my alarm goes off to trade? No. I used to stay up till like 6 a.m. trading Bitcoin back in the day, but I don't do that anymore. I'm mainly trading equities, which close at 4 p.m. I don't trade pre-market. I don't trade aftermarket. Even on futures, I think I've taken like, you can count them on one hand how many futures trades I've taken not on regular hours. I don't like trading equities pre and post market. My strategies are very dependent on high volume and watching the shifts of volume, stuff like that. So when you're trading pre-market and post-market, there's much lower volume than there is during the actual session. So I don't trade after hours. I couldn't imagine being that stressed out, like having an alarm that you're going to jump out of bed and trade. There's no way that's healthy. Look at this low a day scanner. Thing is popping off. This is what my high a day scanner normally looks like. We haven't had a high of day since 338. The bear market is back. Man, this is brutal. Look at this. These 3-minute sells are disgusting. Oh, we're on SPY. Let's go back to ES. That's another 60.3-minute sell signal. That is disgusting. That's 6 points on SPY. Yeah, Sean, it's looking bad, man. It's looking really bad. The biggest sign that this was bad news was when we failed the 4664 level. This was the dead cat bounce level that we were talking about on Monday, and that's exactly what it did. Dead cat bounce, nuked it. Your first support was 4559. You bounced off that almost to the tick. went back to the sell zone, failed the sell zone again. So now that we failed this again, you're targeting 4507, 4490. Those are both about to be hit. Once those are hit, you're targeting 4436 and 4418. Once those are hit, you're targeting 4350, which is right around the gap fills. $152 points from that 618. That is disgusting. In 2 days. Jesus. You guys that like trading swing failure patterns, take a picture of that, print it out, and put it on your monitor, because that is one of the cleanest swing failure patterns you're ever going to get. You tried to break the all-time high, pumped up, sold off, nuked below 3 previous candles. Disgusting. Previous all-time high, dead. Here come the gaps. I don't even want to know what those fucking puts are worth that we talked about yesterday. I didn't take any of those puts, but we were looking at what the 450s and the what was it, 435s or 427s. It was somewhere around the 200 EMA. I don't even want to know. So there goes the bull trap being triggered. You can see the Momo is triggering the bull trap. And they will almost always look like this. So if you guys are wondering what a bull trap looks like on the Momo, you had one right here. You had one right there. This one, not so much, but kind of. This one, definitely. But basically, it's always going to look like a semi-flat trend line, a big downward histogram peak, and then you try to recover the zero line, and then you fail the zero line. So right here is where the trap is being triggered. And I have a better description of this. If you guys go to the Momo page on TradingView, it's right, where is it? It's right here. So bull traps and bear traps. I probably could have done a better job of drawing it out, but you guys get the idea. Very, very disgusting day on ES, closing near the third deviation of VWAP, which is extremely hard to do. Typically, like 90% of the day, even like 99% of the day, is going to be inside the second deviation of VWAP, which is the dotted lines right here. Like if we go back to yesterday, pretty much the entire day is inside the second deviation. And then the day before that, nearly the entire day, except for right here, is inside the second deviation. So on and so forth. Go back even further, almost the entire day inside the second deviation. So when you go outside the second deviation, that's showing very strong sell pressure. Or buy pressure, obviously, if you're on the top side. VIX is at 32. Jesus, look at VIX. Look at this thing fucking go. I'm getting burned on my long-term stuff, so don't let me make it sound like I'm perfectly trading this, guys. I'm getting burned on my stuff too. Thankfully, I'm mostly cash. Nearly all my accounts are almost all cash. I'm in some PayPal shares that I'm waiting to add on to. I'm probably going to add on this week if it keeps selling off like this. I'm in some Wolf shares. They're getting obliterated. I still have room to add on to these as well. I don't even know if I'm going to add on, though. This chart's not looking that good. It's going to have to show me something to add on to this. I might just take the loss. Uranium, I'm still waiting to add on to that. I've got plenty of room to add. I'm not in a massive position on uranium. Ultria, I'm in some leaps. They're about break even. I think I'm down like less than 10%. I'm willing to add on to these as well. And then I'm in this for a small lotto play. IMNM, which we're slightly green on. But I'm holding out, waiting on larger dips to add on to my positions. I'm not trying to kill myself and short every single position that I have. But all right, guys, I'm going to call it on that. I will be streaming tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern. We will be in the Discord for the morning call at 9 a.m. This morning, if you guys were in the morning call, I kind of butchered it a little bit. I'm going to try to slow down a little bit. I had a whole bunch of news that I wanted to cover on the morning call, so I kind of was speeding through it, and I was struggling with my words. We're going to slow it down tomorrow. I'm going to try to keep it cleaner. So come around for that at 9 o'clock in the morning, or I'll see you guys at 9:30 for our standard trading day in the Discord. I'm going to be posting the analysis later today, probably around 8 to 10 o'clock, somewhere around there. So make sure to check the analysis channel around that time, and then I'll see you guys tomorrow.